In this episode, you'll learn why staying safe is the most dangerous thing you can do. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's 3 things you'll learn today. Number 1, how comfort becomes the enemy of growth. Number 2, why your comfort zone is actually a discomfort zone. And number 3, what to do when you realize you're dying slowly from safety. Let's hop into the first point. Comfort being the enemy of growth. It's maybe the story of King Arthur. And Jordan Peterson said this. I enjoyed it. Which is basically the knights chose to walk into the darkest part of the forest upon entry. Why? It is the sooner that you can face your own fear, your own cowardice, your escapism, the list goes on. The sooner you can notice the weakness within your being, within your heart, within your mind, the faster that you can learn what expansion is all about. Now, I use the word expansion rather than growth because just as a vine grows, not all growth is kind of beautiful, right? Um, some growth just strangles trees. And this is where you may ask, and I've surely asked this, like, what's going on? Why is nature the way it is? Well, if you look at nature, it's both beautiful and sometimes terribly brutal. And I have to pull a little giggle out because, like, what else are you supposed to do? Say that the lion shouldn't eat? Act like the snake shouldn't kill? Like, these animals do what these animals were created to do. Who made the animals, right? Then there's different worldviews of, right? There's good and bad. There's Christ and then there's Satan. There's the yin, there's the yang. What else is there? There's like the demiurge, which is the essence of this false planet. I don't necessarily go too far into that. My point being is that there are all these perspectives of labeling and judging. But the fact is that nature is what it is. And I feel that what we need to do is notice how our own sugarcoating of the world prevents expansion. And the fact is that the world can be rough, the world can be brutal, that nature can be so glistening like a rainbow, like a sunset, a sunrise. And then animals, you see, if you've ever had a dog, what it's like to realize, man, I remember when this dog was a puppy, and now this dog's no longer on this planet. You know what that feels like if you've had a dog. But nonetheless, whether you've watched someone in your family, it happens to humans too. The point is that life is intricate and we better get with it. That's the simplest way for me to tell you the point. We have to get with it. And that means that you're not striving all the time for growth, but you realize part of life is working hard. Part of life is in the muscle building process, your muscles need to quote unquote tear and strain and break for them to regrow bigger. The snake loses its skin for it to regrow or have new skin come. This is what we're doing as spirits in these vessels. We have all of this stimulus, all so much energy throughout this planet. And it comes down to the question of, what are we here to do? Why are you here? Have you ever actually asked that, right? Because you could ask how to make more money. You could ask what your talents are. You could ask, is this the right career path for me? And you could also ask, what am I actually on this planet to do? Like, why am I here? Why are we here? What are we doing here? And you'll get a sense of, all right, well, I mean, Justin, I want to ask those questions, but I need to buy food tomorrow. I'm too worried about buying food tomorrow. Or maybe it's, I'm too worried about how I can afford this yacht next week. It's the same problem. It's this mind, this identity, this always wanting more, always adding. Now, of course, you need food, you need water. I understand that. But you got to find a way to cover your simple foundations. Like, I do not have all the step by step little kitty cupcake answers for you, but I'll ask the hard questions, and you can chew on the hard questions. Funny part is, I can tell you the answers to the hard questions, but it doesn't matter unless you get to the answer of the hard question yourself. Like, I could tell you everything I know, everything I've seen. And just as if someone gave me $1 billion today versus me earning $1 billion when I'm however old, big difference. Now, I'm not saying I need $1 billion. What I'm saying is that you gotta walk into the darkest part of the forest. You have to be honest about the brutality and the beauty. That you can talk and think all day about certain things, but how deep are you going, right? For example, don't get too offended if this is you, because this is just something I've been around. But people who can tell you all the statistics, all the things about the NFL or sports, I laugh, and I'm not going to cut this laughter out. I laugh because, hey, is that all there is to life? Entertainment. See, some people really, I'll ruffle some feathers, but I'm doing this in a gentle way. Like, if you click off of the podcast because I'm talking about some people who, well, you're not for the podcast anyways. That's maybe you'll come back in the future, right? Like, offending people with truth is part of helping others let go of what's not true. In other words, the comfort being the enemy of growth is basically, how do I put it? Like, I've had thoughts, oh, I should go travel here. I should do all these crazy things. Comfort is defined by you. You can live. Here's like a real toughie. I'm 26. My dad hasn't been around for a long time. I live with my mom and my two sisters. I'm 26. I'm still working. I'm still saving. I've invested over 50K into business. I've been living hard. But from the outside, you could say, oh, he lives with his mom and he's 26. Who is this guy to tell me anything? But that is the form of oversimplification, which can be extraordinarily dangerous. Because my physique, I've chiseled myself. I've lived in a way where I can honestly tell you that not many people have lived. And that doesn't mean I'm better or lower. That means I'm sharing with you the essence of how the mind can distort. And comfort does not mean that you go to Thailand. It may mean that you do go to Thailand, getting uncomfortable. You have to really sit and understand, what are you being guided to do? What's the breadcrumb of spirit of God showing you? Because my path is not your path. There are a million different ways to the same mountaintop. You need to find your path. I share that practical content of my life to show you that society doesn't know what your path is. The only way you can ever find your path is to let your heart guide you. And you'll meet the right people at the right time. I can promise you that. And you'll have struggles within those relationships where you're like, oh, wait, I thought this was so great. I thought this was coincidental or non-coincidental, spiritually aligned. And then you'll have your ego triggered and triggered. Do you run or do you stay? Sometimes when a relationship has burned itself out, you don't run, you walk away. But Other times, you want to run away from something, you don't run. You don't escape. You don't squeak out the back door. It's either you walk away with integrity or this thing's meant for you. And of course, there are times where, how do I put it? Think vastly in relationship to the words that I'm saying. Because I am kind of touching on, here, we'll jump into point two, because I know it's going to unravel the thread more. Why your comfort zone is actually a discomfort zone. And that means the things specifically which you do day in and out, which you don't question, which feel the same, no matter where you're at on your journey, you're going to have periods where you get a little bit complacent. The big skill set is how quickly can you notice your own complacency? There's a big difference between being content with your day and complacently escaping through mechanical habits and actions that bring you nothing new. Nothing new. Funny part about life is you could do the same mechanical action in a new way. For example, weightlifting. I've been lifting for 11 years, long time. How do I not get bored of such a thing? Right? Sometime I've been doing triceps, I've been doing chest, I've been doing back, legs for 11 years. How? First of all, you can feel what it does for you. Second of all, you change your relationship to the action. You still do maybe similar movements. Maybe you change movements altogether. You can change intensity, you can change pacing, you can change time of workout, you can change environment. You can use different machines. You can lift by yourself or lift with other people. Do you get what I'm saying? What I'm really saying here is that you are the creator of the change that you do or not, that you do or don't make in your life. You have the power to absolutely upend, uproot what you're comfortable with and still have a foundational structure, a aligned cornerstone where, healthy food, exercise, stretching, good rest, it's all super important to be grounded. If you're not grounded, you're going to go spiritually psychotic, especially if you're charged with this form of energy. Like, what drives me to do this is basically that I see what happens when I do not juice my consciousness for others. But when I do this, when I align myself with the right actions, when I work out, when I work hard, when I stretch, when I take care of myself holistically, I'm at peace. To be at peace doesn't mean that you don't exert yourself, but it means that sometimes you're intense, sometimes you're balanced, that you're honest, that you change, that you adapt, that you let every day teach you, that you don't just jump and hold conclusions, beliefs, worldviews. This is how everything is. No, you are always learning. That learning mindset, that open mindset, that courage, that skepticism to say, do I really know everything? What is this thought? Is this really who I am, who I think I am? Or do you take out a pen and paper and tear shit up a bit? Question yourself. Write your priorities. Are these my priorities? Why? Why? Like, why is this important to me? Why is this number one on my list? What am I doing what I do for? Right? You ask those questions. It's inevitable that you change a little bit, that you wake up a bit. So, your comfort zone, I think I did point number two, forgive me. Point number two, though, like your comfort zone, actually just comfort zone, you gotta kind of change your relationship to the things that you do. You can do, it's not how you do one thing, it's how you do, or how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it is how you do one. It's as simple as the pace that you walk at. Of course. Oh, are you always rushing? Why are you always rushing? Can you unravel what the state of rushing does to you. Are you sleeping at night, or are you just thinking about the next day? Those sort of questions. I can't ask them for you. I can give you the question, but you got to ask it with the energy, the intention, the integrity. Then maybe you'll get some insights, baby. So, number 3, what to do when you realize you're dying slowly from safety. Yeah, most people buried at 75, dead at 25, spirit gone. There's so many American, not only American, but there's a lot of rock and roll songs about this essence, where, like Metallica, or I don't know, all the, maybe Blink 182, but where the kid is killed. Not physically, but they don't want you asking questions. They don't want you curious. They don't want the sparkle in your eye. They don't want you to be an adult who is intelligent, spiritually awake, physically powerful, a real man, but with playfulness and gratitude. I'm not saying that the whole world doesn't want that. I'm saying that the conditioning of the past has gotten so used to lower vibrations that they haven't awoken that child. And then they set standards of numbness, of dumbness. And you are meant to question that and rewrite things, because your destiny, it's on your heart. If you don't like being told what to do, there's a reason you don't like being told what to do. You're not meant to blindly accept things from others. That doesn't mean that you don't work as a team. Of course, you got to work as a team. If your boss says, hey, could you grab me that, please? Could you do this for me? Sure. We're part of a team. But in the grand scheme, you can't like blindly accept things, especially from certain vibrations. I hope that makes sense. I know, feeling a little fired up. I won't even say forgive me, right? It's just this is sometimes how I feel. Got a little bit of juice. Who am I going to share the juice with? Who's got ears? Honestly, I'm good on the talking. I feel wonderful. I'm grateful for all of you who listen. Basically, though, share this with a friend. You're smart. Share it with the right people. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you have questions, please email me questions, gliskus@pm.me. It'll be in the description. I would love to start making episodes based on questions that come into the inbox. So, like, if any of you have questions, ask them, you know? Maybe I won't make the whole episode about it, but I will at least give you, I'll commit to answering questions. It's one of my favorite things to do, to be honest with you. As long as they're not, you know what? Honestly, I won't even give you that. Ask me anything. Truly, you can ask me anything. If I don't answer it, then maybe there's something there. But besides that, what can I say? If you want to get into great shape, I've been 10, 12% body fat for a long time. You can just look at my Instagram. I have a physique which I've worked very hard to create, and you can do it too. All humans can look amazing. This life isn't about physical attachment to how you look, but I would say that it's kind of silly to not feel good. And if working your body is part of helping you feel good, which that is the case, exercising, movement, sweating, working hard, stretching, recovery, good, healthy food, it's all fundamental. Like the reason that I even created the Greek God Physique Blueprint is because I, for years, had struggled between, all right, what's my niche? Like, am I doing a fitness stuff? Am I consciousness stuff? Well, the fact is, I couldn't give two shits about talking about fitness. I'm here to talk about what I'm talking about. But what got me into this, even before I had the articulation, the words, the vocabulary to put it in this manner, when I played football, I got into those flow states where my identity was gone. I was the team. I was just doing something for 3 hours and it felt like the snap of fingers. The football games. So, point being that fitness is fundamental to spirituality. And I have a low ticket, cheap $27 blueprint in the description. Check it out. Besides that, shoot some questions. I appreciate you. Let's go. Have a great day.